The very first thing you want to do is get your machine plugged in and turned on. You'll see that you have a light in here. When the factory sews a machine, they usually put a nice little sample in there, so you can take that out. And we're ready to get into our accessories and get a bobbin out. The accessories are going to be hidden right in here. We'll kind of go through those with the following videos. So we're going to just take those out. I'm going to leave that off so I can get into the bobbin area as we go. One thing about bobbins is that they are specific for each machine. So this is not a time to be mixing and matching from other machines. If your machine takes a plastic bobbin, it takes a plastic bobbin. Metal bobbins are for machines that take metal bobbins. So definitely make sure, let's see here. In here we've got 1, 2, 3 bobbins. And sometimes they actually put a bobbin in the bobbin case. Yes. So we've got a total of 4 bobbins to work with when you get your machine. So let's take a look. In the accessory box, I'm going to pull out a vertical spool pin just so we can talk about it as we get started with winding our bobbins and where our spool needs to actually go. Now, this is actually a cross-wound thread. Cross-wound thread actually means that you can kind of see little X's on the spool. And I'm going to go ahead. You have 2 spool caps. This one's a fairly large one that would be used for bigger spools, but this one has a little bit of a smaller end. So we're just going to use the small spool cap to hold that in place. If you have a spool that is a stack thread, where the thread lays right next to each other all the way up the spool and down, we're going to put that on the vertical spool pin. It's also nice if you ever want to use a twin needle or a double needle, that's where a second spool will sit. So I'm going to just take that off. Usually when you travel, you don't want to leave that on because it's kind of going to be sticking up and out of the way. Okay, so for winding a bobbin, what we're going to do is we're going to come around the first guide on the back part. Here's a trick to remember. The spool of thread and the thread coming off of it needs to always come at a straight line. If it's coming from the spool over here to where the bobbin winder little pretensioner is, that's going to be at an angle. We'll kind of pull a little hard against that spool. Then you have a little picture, a diagram of which way to go around this pretensioner. Now, you do need to make sure your thread actually gets underneath this. This is what is going to make the bobbin wind nice and tight as we go here. All right, we'll give a nice clean cut. And then for the bobbin, we're going to take our thread and from the inside to out in any one of the holes there, pull about 5-6 inches on there. Go ahead and put it on the bobbin winder and push it over. I usually like to just hold my threads in my hands, but leave yourself about 3-4 inches across the top here. And then go ahead and step on your foot control. Eventually this will break off, but sometimes I'll stop and actually make sure I clip the tail. Take small scissors and clip right at the end so there's not a little extra tuft of thread coming up there, because once it goes into the bobbin case, that can actually interrupt how it actually spins and sews there. So we're just going to go ahead and fill this all the way up. It'll stop when it's full. They do hold quite a bit of thread, so it's nice to always go ahead and make yourself a nice full bobbin. When it stops spinning, you can let up on your foot control, flip your thread, slide the bobbin back, and now we're ready to put it into the bobbin case. Here's the trick for putting it in the bobbin case. What you want to do is look for the bobbin. As you drop it in, the thread needs to come over the right side of the bobbin. That means when you pull on it, it should spin clockwise. You're going to bring it right up to the little groove that's on the side of the bobbin case. Pull it straight down and then over. I usually push the thread across the side of the bobbin case. So I'm not kind of pulling it towards me, but almost guiding it along the side and then down into, there's a little C area right here that you can the thread's going to sit on. Now, it doesn't matter which side this actually is on, but the finger does need to be pointing straight up as we go to put it into the bobbin area. Become left-handed. That's the key here. You hold this latch out with your left index finger, that bobbin's not going to drop out. So that means that when it's let go, it will come out. So hold it there, and then this will be straight up. It's actually easier to put into your machine with your left hand. Leave that tail hanging out the side here, and we're going to go ahead and thread up the rest of the machine. Okay, this little guy is only for winding bobbins, so we'll unthread that. Also, too, if you ever wind a bobbin and it's like fluffy, You definitely don't want to use that. It means that it just didn't get around here. Fluffy, like it's loose around that spool, the bobbin, it's not definitely one. If you have that issue, take that bobbin, that's a problem, wind it onto a new bobbin. You can utilize the thread and keep going. Okay, so for threading the machine, sometimes too, number one, make sure your presser foot is up. That is up right now. And sometimes what I'll do is actually hold on to this thread with a little resistance as I'm coming down through the grooves of the machine. Coming right through here, underneath, there's little marks on the front of the machine to show you where to go. You're gonna come in on the right side, all the way down on the left. You'll see it kind of hook into the top of the take-up lever there. And then there's one guide at the very top of the needle on the right side. Now, this model is equipped with a needle threader, and I'm going to show you up close in a little bit how to use that needle threader. Not all models of the E10 series has this. I just noticed that the box said now equipped with a needle threader, so yay! It definitely makes it a lot easier to get that threaded up. So like I said, we'll do a separate video on up close and how to use the needle threader. To bring your bobbin thread up, you're going to hold the thread that you've threaded through the needle with your left hand. Turn your handle one full stitch. Now, when we talk about a full stitch, we're talking about the take-up lever coming all the way back to the highest position. You always turn the hand wheel towards you, and that will create a stitch proper, and it will pull up the thread of the bobbin in that little loop. Take both these threads now and put them underneath the foot and to the back of the machine. Now we're ready to stitch. We can close up the bobbin door, and if you'd like, you can go ahead and put the accessory box back on. That will kind of extend the work surface of your machine. Now, when I test out a machine, I always sew on 2 layers of fabric. So if you've got some fabric, fold it in half, and then go ahead and stitch. So we're going to lower down the presser foot, and go ahead and step on the foot control. For a back stitch, that's what this lever is for. Reversing will lock the stitches in place. Now, before you take the fabric out of the machine, no matter where this needle is, it doesn't matter. What's key is that you need to bring this take-up lever, turn the hand wheel towards you, bring it all the way to the highest position, and then you can lift up the presser foot, pull the fabric out with your left hand, and there's a cutter on the side of the machine. You can go from front to back or back to front, whichever is easiest for you. What's nice though is you can do it without having 2 hands involved. You can just pull it and then cut it. And then that's what we have for our stitch. We see that the stitch is the same, it looks the same on both the front and the back. That means you've done it correctly.